what I want to show you next is how we can start doing our reports inside of SAP B1 with some of this budget data as well. So what I'm going to do is, instead of doing a dashboard, I'm going to click on the plus sign in the lower left-hand quadrant of the screen, and you're going to see I have the ability now to create a report. So I'm going to click on the plus sign and click on report. And the first thing that I'm going to get asked is, well, what kind of template do you want? Well, for now, I'm just going to create a blank template. That's all I want. And I'm going to click on OK. The next thing that it's going to ask me is, again, you're looking for that plus sign. So right in the center of the screen, you're going to see a plus sign, which I'm going to click on. And it's going to say, well, what do you want? Do you want a list report? Do you want a crosstab? Do you want a visualization like a graphic? I'm going to say for now, I just want a list. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to click on the defaults and click on OK. So now that I have this in play, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now connect to my source. So I want to connect to my SAP B1 source. So I click on the plus sign over here, where it says add a source. And again, just go to where my source is, open my package, and look into my SAP B1 and click on open. And now I've got the package that's available to me. Now, one thing that I'm going to do on my side is I'm going to, instead of being in page design mode, I'm going to switch it to page preview mode. So this way, whatever information I add to the report is automatically going to show up. So I'm going to open up the order book. And again, I'm going to go to where my sales credits are. And I'm going to go into my line key figures. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my gross sales and just bring it in to the report. Now, the challenge is right now is that I'm looking at this, I see $84 million in gross sales. But the challenge that right now is I only want this for 2018. So what I'm going to do, or for fiscal year 2018. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calendar that's up here on the left, open it up, open up calendars, and instead of looking at things by calendar, I also have by fiscal. So I'm going to click on fiscal, and this time I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to right-click on fiscal year. By doing so, I'm going to say, I want to filter the report for a specific fiscal year. By clicking on filter for reports, it's going to show me all my years that are available. I say, well, I only want 2018. So I click on the plus sign, and it adds it to that. And you can see that it's going to keep these values. And if I ever decided to save this report, I can then also have the option to click on prompt. So every time this report gets opened, it's going to ask me which year I want. Otherwise, if I do not select that, it's automatically going to hard code that filter for 2018 only. I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And now I can see that the gross sales is showing up for $5 million as an example. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at this in a little bit more context. I'm going to say, look at this information by salesperson. So I'm going to open up the salesperson folder, and I'm going to take that information and just drag it just to the left of gross sales. So now I see this information broken down by the different salespeople. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go scroll down, and I've integrated some of that target information into the model. So there's a little bit of work that was done just to kind of modify it so it comes into the actual package itself. But again, it's coming from that data source of Excel. And for simplicity purposes, I did that behind the scenes. And what I can do right now is I can take that overall monthly sales target and just drag and drop it right onto the canvas, right next to gross sales. And I can see the information where I have gross sales, I have my target. Notice that some of the values have no targets, but I do have sales. So it's showing me the information of both information as it relates to sales and targets at the same time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a calculation that's going to say, I want to take gross sales, I want to take overall monthly target. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here and say, I want to insert a calculation. I can insert that calculation, and I can say, I want the percent of gross sales overall monthly target sales. By clicking on that, you're going to see right now that it's saying that Jacques D has achieved 26.98% of its overall target of 6.7 million. Now, I have the ability to rename this column because it's a little bit long. I just have to double click on it, and it's going to show me the expression that came into play, but I'm just going to go in and just remove the rest of this description that's here, and I'm going to say, I want this to be called percent target achieved. And I click on OK. So I have that information that's there. I also have the ability, if I want, to click on gross sales, and I could say, I want this sorted in descending mode, and then all that information then shows up. It's now sorted by that. And finally, if I want, I have the ability to run this report, or if I want, I could say, I now want to see this in Excel. I'll click Run Excel. And what will happen is it'll take this exact report that I have on screen. It'll be made available to me in an Excel spreadsheet right over here. I just click on that, and there's the information inside of Excel. So that is how we integrate our data as it relates to budgets and information that's coming from SAP Business One together in one common area.